Jersey, but before he used to actually live out here in Long Island, but he moved to New Jersey, and he is one of the main principals at the New Jersey Temple, ISKCON New Jersey. He's a GBC for South Jersey. He is part of the ISKCON Communications. He's on the NARGB. He is the head of ISKCON 335. He's got more titles than I can shake the stick at. So, at any rate, he's a very wonderful devotee. I've known him for some time. We worked together on a few projects. Originally, we were working together to try to reclaim this temple, which now has happened. So, today he will be giving a talk, and I'll turn it over to him. But we'll do Jai Radha Madhava while I set up the video equipment. So everyone please come into the temple room so you can hear his class. And if there are children, please have them go downstairs because there's activities for children down there so they don't create a disturbance while someone's giving class here.
The red one? Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharidhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharidhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari
Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Prajaranjana
Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Prajaranjana
Jai Goprande. Shri Radha Madhav ki, Shri Shri Gaunitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna. So, can you just check this? Yeah. You can just adjust it accordingly. Yes, thank you. It's recording, right? Yes. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So thank you all for joining this evening in ISKCON of Long Island. It's a real joy to be back here again. And my many thanks to His Holiness Chandrasekhar Swami Maharaj and to all the devotees here who keep this place running. And
Many thanks to you.
and all the devotees who keep this place running, of course. And this is my home in many ways. I spent quite a few years, like 6-7 years here in Long Island. And very formative years for myself and my family. I watched my son grow up here. He's grown up a bit now. He's 23 years old. Back then he was just a little kid. So I'm very grateful to be back home. We always want to go where we feel the love. So that brings us to the question, where is love? Exploring the concept of prema, divine love. Just pinch that there. Yeah. There you go. Looks like it's good. Yeah, it's good.
This is giving me hassle. Okay.
It's fine.
Should be
It's
good.
all good. Yes. So whether you're a long-time devotee or a new devotee or just curious about Krishna consciousness, didn't we ask them to like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please either come in or keep quiet. It's very loud and they're all over the top. Thank you.
So whether you're a long-time devotee, a new devotee, or simply just curious about Krishna consciousness, we're all here today because we share something in common. What are we searching for? We're searching for this. Where is love? And today we'll explore this question a little bit more, this whole concept. What is this love that we're talking about? And how our bhakti tradition teaches us that true love is found in our eternal relationship with Krishna. Gopal Chandra Prabhu. So I was saying recently how people decorate their yards. You know, sometimes they put little flags on the yards. Just until recently that Christmas and New Year's. And then when they take off that, the next thing is what, you know? What flag did they put? No, before St. Patrick's. There's another one. This one. All these pink hearts, Valentine's Day. That's coming up next week, right? February 14th, in anticipation of Valentine's Day. So throughout history, this love has been the central theme of human life. In every culture, every language, every background. You know, people glorify love and they shape their entire lives, you know, around building and maintaining loving relationships. Why? Because deep within, we all desire to love and to be loved. But where does this desire originate? Famous Beatle, George Harrison, he said what? All you need is love. Love is all you need. There's a song like that too. There's a famous artist, Vincent van Gogh. You might have heard of his name. He says there's nothing more truly artistic than to love people. And you know, it's a very exalted concept. You see love through the ages. It's universally glorified. I don't know of any other topic that is subject of more songs composed all over the world. I mean, if you think about the songs in your language, or in any other language, if you think of number of songs, popular songs, poetic songs, if you remove the number of songs about love, how many songs remain? Very few, not so many. The biggest percentage is about love. And movies and art and literature. I mean, if anybody's watched like Bollywood, like Indian movies, forget it. Like, even if it's a movie about war, there'll be like a love song in there, you know. You can't help it, right? So humankind has always sought ways to explore and express this love. And what is the source of this inner drive, this almost compelling force? I can't help myself to seek love. Love comes from within. You see, love is the inherent quality of the spirit soul, actually. It is actually what we are made of. Okay, fine. But what does love mean? You use the word love, love, love. What does it mean? The concept of love is almost always connected to a notion of attraction. Now, typically, this attraction is in the context of romantic connections, with an expectation of eventually, you get married or some sort of physical consummation. And this may develop further into committed relationships and establishment of family, and then love expands even more, then you expand and create communities and so on. So sometimes if we have had bad experiences in love, and all we want is that we don't want to be disappointed again, then this definition of love will be different for that person. Isn't it? What is love? Baby, don't hurt me no more. Because we have been hurt before. So don't. That's the definition of love for that person. But it's much more than that. This is a very unique way of looking at it. Love is not a feeling. Sometimes we're mistaken. Love is a feeling. It's not a feeling. Love is action. What you do is love, not what you feel. Feeling comes later. And even if you don't feel it, if you do it, that's your love. See? The components of love are about having a strong desire for the well-being of the beloved. If I love a person, I want to make sure that he is happy. I'll do whatever I can to make sure he is well taken care of, he's pleased. And at the core of that drive, the core of that feeling that drives us is a sense of service. I mean, if I love somebody and I want that person to be happy and to have good well-being and so on. But if I don't do anything, that's not really love. You have to do something. You have to serve in some way. Therefore, service is really the key action. That is a component of love. That's why Srila Prabhupada, whenever he translated the word bhakti, this word bhakti has been translated from Sanskrit into English by many scholars in the past. A lot of them would just translate it as devotional love or loving feeling or spiritual love. But Prabhupada translated always as loving, devotional service. He always put the word service in there. The word bhakti doesn't have service in it. It doesn't have seva in there, but bhakti implies a service. So you cannot have love without service. And if you think love is separate from service, then that love is a very false understanding of it. It's an thoroughly incomplete and sometimes misapplied and even misappropriated and exploited version of love. It's not just the feeling, it's serving selflessly. Loving service is inherent to the soul, like I said. Even in other species, sometimes dogs will give their life to protect the other dogs that they love. The loving propensity to serve is very apparent. Mothers love their children. That's the purest form of love we see in this world. The mother's love for the child. But is it only humans? No. You've seen how birds, they build nests for their babies and they sit on the eggs, the eggs hatch, and then they're always like, and then they go out and get the worm and feed those little, right? It's love, it's loving feeling. But love in a materialistic angle, from materialistic paradigm, it may seem attractive at first, but it doesn't satisfy the heart completely. That sort of so-called love is actually a mirage. You know the mirage in the desert, right? You see, it looks like water, but it's not really there. There's no water. It's a mirage. This in Sanskrit is known as, not prem, it's known as kama. Kama is this sort of mirage love. In the 3rd chapter of the Gita, Krishna says, Kama esha, krodha esha, rajo guna samudbhava. This kama is an intense desire for selfish fulfillment of that loving propensity. It leads to a burning anger, wrath. And that anger arises from frustration, from being a victim of false advertising. You see, so when one is a victim of, it's translated sometimes as lust or just selfishness. And when you become a victim of the false advertising, you see, or the billboard announces, this will make you happy. You run after this sort of relationship, you'll be happy. And then when you try it, you don't feel the kind of satisfaction. Like this fellow here. He got the bottle, but all you get is one little drop. But he's so thirsty in the desert. So it's crushingly disappointing. And when you're that disappointed, you get very angry. So the illusory energy advertises, come, enjoy this sense gratification. And you'll find the happiness that you're seeking. But that happiness never comes. Now the sensation is real. There's a little drop is there. It's not that it's not there. There's something there. But it lasts only a short time and we feel let down and cheated. All that investment, time we put into this, and money. And this comes out as anger. And sometimes different toxic behaviors, social dynamics, because the frustration has to find an outlet. So this material selfish love often comes with expectations, conditions, and typically disappointment. But relationships in the material platform, in the material world that are selfish, are based on mutual benefits. And they're subject to change. It's like a fine print, subject to change. The Prabhupada says, material love is like a drop of water in the desert. And spiritual love is like an ocean of nectar. You can drink as much as you want, there's no shortage. Dive into it, swim in it. Unlimited, exactly. Unlimited, whereas this is so limited and so disappointed, and it's not even sweet. So while romantic relationships, they can bring happiness, they're incomplete because they do not address the eternal nature of the soul. We are very, very thirsty beings. And this is not going to cut it. We want a lot more. We're not going to settle for less than a good amount. Now the Vedic scriptures, they describe many goals or purusharthas of humans, right? The primary 4 purusharthas are described in Vedas as dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So we have these goals that are prescribed in the Vedas for human happiness. Dharma means you do some religiosity, some sacrifice, some puja, some vidhi. And then because you did that, you'll get money. Artha, you'll get wealth. And what do you do with the wealth? Kama, you go out and buy something, go have a good time. But then what ends up happening is that you realize that kama, or this kamanas, running after these materialistic, selfish things with the money that we do, is not giving us the happiness that we're looking for. And we've tried this way, we feel so frustrated, like, I'm tired of this, get me out of here. Moksha. I want relief from the misery that comes from all this. Now, what's the problem with all these 4 goals? All 4 have one major problem. Which is a good one to follow? Which is a good one that we should strive for? Anyone?
Karma.
No, that's not karma, that's kama.
Oh, karma. Okay.
There's no karma in here.
Dharma.
There's no dharma in here. Oh, the first one, yeah, dharma, but that's we should go for dharma. What is dharma? This dharma here refers to religiosity for the specific purpose of getting money. Yes. Yes, moksha, right? Actually, all of them have one problem, same problem. None of them are worth pursuing, actually. None of them. And they have all one problem. The one problem is they're all selfish. Every single one of them. Even the moksha part is because I'm tired, I want relief from my misery. None of them are selfless goals. These are all selfish goals. So this seeking relief is yet another selfish goal. Dharma we do because we can get money we can do karma, the sense gratification, and then we're tired, we get moksha, I want out of here. So, but there's another goal that's very important. There's another goal that's very important that's called the Pancham Purushartha. What is the fifth goal? It's really the main goal that we want, that is not selfish. And that's really what's going to make us happy. That's called Prema. Prema is called Pancham Purushartha. It's not the fourth, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's the fifth one, Pancham. This verse, it's a beautiful verse, it's written by Prabodhanand Saraswati Thakur. And it describes the philosophy of Krishna consciousness in one verse. Whole philosophy. In summary, based on the goal of life. And this is the final opinion of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Matam. Matam means opinion. Idam. And there's no other opinion beyond this. Tatra dara napara. So it goes like this. Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanaya Tadham Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadhu Vargenaya Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matamidam Tatradara Napara. What does this mean? This is a conclusive opinion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that Shri Krishna, who is Vrajendra Nandana, the son of the king of Vraja, Nanda Maharaj, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. The topmost worshipable deity, Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanaya. He's the one who is Aradhya, to be worshipped. And where does he live? Tat Dhama Vrindavan. Vrindavana Dham, which is an expansion of Shri Krishna, is not different from him and is the highest worshipable abode. So he's Krishna, but he's not hanging out in space. He has an abode, he has a place to hang out with. That's Vrindavan. It's his own expansion. Okay, fine, he's worshipable, but how do I know what style of worship is the best? There's so many ways. So he says, Ramya Kachidupasana. The gopis of Vrindavan are the highest example of worship of Sri Krishna. How do the gopis worship him? Completely selflessly. Their level of selflessness is the top. Nobody can top them. They only care for Krishna's well-being, even at the cost of their own suffering, their own health, their own reputation. You know, for a young lady in India, to lose a reputation is worse than death. They don't care if they lose a reputation. They want Krishna to be happy. So selfless. That's why we follow in their footsteps. We have to try to aim for that level of selflessness, that I want to give myself completely to Krishna. Ramya Kachid Upasana, Vrajavadhu, the gopis. That is the love that we want. And that's love that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining here. Okay, fine. But what if I have questions on philosophy and how the world works and what is my place and what to do, what not to do? Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam. You read Bhagavatam, that's in this verse. Srimad Bhagavatam is the spotless evidence, pramana, for knowing the absolute truth. And the last one, Prema Pumartho Mahan. The greatest goal for all human beings is prema, love. And not just on February 14th. Every day. Every day of the year. So attaining love of Godhead is the highest, absolute highest goal for all humans. And once this is reached, everything else falls into place. Then the loving propensity that we have can then be empowered, and it can expand beyond limits to extend not just to oneself, but to all other living beings without any hindrance. Because we want to love others too, in a pure way. And when that love is connected with Krishna selflessly, then because Krishna is unlimited, our love for Krishna can also then expand to everybody unlimitedly. That love comes in the form of service, compassion, selflessly giving. And we see examples, Srila Prabhupada himself, his love overflowed and he came from Vrindavan. It was a very difficult, harsh place. It was just as cold here when Prabhupada was suffering through the winters in New York. It was awful. And yet he came and he gave it to all of us. His love flowed unlimitedly, and we are all the beneficiaries of it. Millions of people today in the world are benefiting directly from Prabhupada's selfless love that overflowed. You see? So it's like coming out, when you finally place in this love, it's like coming out from a dark room into the sunlight. You can imagine, blinking. When you're placed in love of God, or even if you start out seeking love of God and follow the process, we start seeing the sun, and we can see ourselves, and we can see others. And we will understand and love God. Otherwise, when you're stuck in the dark room of selfishness, we can't see others. We cannot see God. We can't even see our own hand. We don't even know who we are. We don't even know what we actually look like when we're in so much darkness. So we don't understand, we're in darkness of ignorance, what we actually look like. We think we are these lumps of matter. We don't look like this. This is not what we actually look like. We are effulgent beings, all of us. In our pure form, pure state, uncovered state, we have so much vibrance, so much love, and so much, just all good qualities. Our job is to uncover that and seek and reestablish that love that we've been missing. Because love is there, it's inherent. You just have to uncover it. See? So, Srila Prabhupada says, we do not say don't love. We say love Krishna. So when you love Krishna, then all other love becomes aligned properly. That's a spiritual love. That's bhakti. Spiritual, loving, devotional service. What does this spiritual love look like? Well, different ways it manifests. The root of all love is a supreme love between Radha and Krishna. And when Radha and Krishna are combined, it becomes one person known as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And he's right here, behind the curtain. So Srimati Radharani's love for Krishna is the highest example of selfless, pure love. That's the love of the gopis, and she's the topmost gopi. We talked about that. This is the unfathomable exchange of love between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his internal energy from his own heart, who is the Supreme Feminine Personality, Srimati Radharani. And when Krishna wonders how much loving feeling is being experienced by Radharani, he meditates on it very deeply. So deeply that he himself takes her mood and takes her color. His own complexion changes from dark to golden, and he becomes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In that form, because he can't handle all that love, he loses all sense of discrimination. An almost intoxicated sense of uncontrolled love. He goes around just throwing it to everybody. Come, take it. You take it. You take it. I don't care whether you're qualified or not qualified. That's his mood. He gets into that very amazing mood. gift of love of God to anyone who will chant the names of Krishna. Only price is you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That's all we need to do. The love that Lord Gauranga has is what we are all craving. Some of us know it and some of us don't know it, but that's what we all want. We want intensity. We don't want a pastel form of love. We want intense love, like what he's experiencing. The love in this world is like it's like a glowworm's light. You can't even light a corner of a room with it. You can argue it's light, but you can't really use it for anything. We want a floodlight. We want intensity. We want continuity of flow, a continuous flow of strong, loving feelings and exchange. We want the thrill and excitement beyond compare. And that comes by serving selflessly. It's manifested by the Lord when he comes as Mahaprabhu. So in the Bhakti tradition, this relationship between Guru and disciple is another manifestation of spiritual love. The love that Prabhupada had for his disciples. You can ask any of Prabhupada's disciples how much love they felt from him. Even when he wasn't there physically. He was somewhere else, but it doesn't matter. And keep the door closed. Oh, they're coming. The Guru is a representative of Krishna, and the disciple reciprocates by following his instructions with faith and devotion. Narottam Das Thakur, we were singing just earlier, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittete Koriya Akya. Whatever word comes from the lotus mouth of spiritual master, that is my life and soul. It's again a manifestation of spiritual love. This is seen. And of course there's love between devotees. Vaishnava relationships, friendships, they're based on encouraging each other in spiritual life. Srila Prabhupada emphasized that devotee relationships should be full of care and service, not envy and competition. He said, cooperate to spread Krishna consciousness. This will please me. Because when we work to spread Krishna consciousness, we feel all the mercy of the Lord and Mahaprabhu coming to us. And that feeling is incomparable. So what are some practical ways that we can express this love? We can be serving, encouraging, forgiving, supporting devotees. Rupa Goswami gives us 6 loving exchanges. Giving gifts, receiving gifts, giving food, accepting food, talking confidentially, listening confidentially. These are 6 exchanges that we can love and share our love selflessly with each other. Now sometimes this concept of love, relationships, and attachment in this world, they can cause some confusion. But when we read Prabhupada's books very closely, it clarifies a lot of these misconceptions. For example, there is in the Bhagavad Gita in chapter 13, verses 8 through 12, it's a list of items of knowledge. Krishna says, these are items of knowledge. One of the items he says, detachment from family, children, home, etc. That's knowledge. Krishna is saying you should be detached from wife, children, family, husband, all that. That's what you should be detached from. So then that one might conclude falsely that this means I should start being cold to my wife. Then I'll be more Krishna conscious. I should be more indifferent. I should not care whether she feels something or my husband, whether he wants something or what makes him happy or doesn't make him. I don't care. I shouldn't care anymore because I'm supposed to be detached. Some people actually read it that way. It's unfortunate. But that's why he has the purports. In the purport to that verse, what does Prabhupada say? He says, as for detachment from children, wife and home, it is not meant that one should have no feeling for these. They are natural objects of affection. You see, so when you read the book properly, the purport properly, you realize that no, I should not take it the wrong way. In another place, Prabhupada in the purport, he writes in Bhagavatam, perfection of pure devotional service is attained when all attention is diverted towards the transcendental loving service of the Lord. To cut off the tie of all other affections does not mean complete negation of the finer elements like affection for someone else. This is not possible. A living being, whoever he may be, must have this feeling of affection for others because it is a symptom of life. It's very important, no matter what ashram we are in, whether we're brahmachari, whether we're grahastha or vanaprastha, whatever stage of life we're in, whether we're students or we're married householders, or we have more mature and we have our children of our own and we have our own friend circles, doesn't matter what stage we're in. We have to find some affectionate exchanges. Ideally, we want those to be centered around Krishna and Krishna conscious activity. We want friendships around Krishna, and so then it's uplifting, it's purifying. If we don't give encouragement and love in this circle of devotees, then devotees will seek that encouragement elsewhere. The world out there isn't discouraging enough. We don't need to give more discouragement here in these circles. We just need to flood ourselves with encouragement, give each other a lot of care, support, forgiveness, tolerance, care, and love, affection, all that. We need to find ways. That's our flagship product in ISKCON. Love and encouragement. That's what we're supposed to be producing. So, Prabhupada writes in this purport, very nice one, he says the symptoms of life, such as desire, anger, hankerings, feelings of attraction, cannot be annihilated. Only the objective has to be changed. Desire cannot be negated, but in devotional service, the desire is changed only for the service of the Lord, in place of desire for sense gratification. The so-called affection for family, society, country, etc. consists of different phases of sense gratification. When this desire is changed for the satisfaction of the Lord, it is called devotional service. So you see, when we change our desire to serve Krishna, it's called devotional service, it's called bhakti. So the highest love in all of existence is the pure and sweet love between Krishna and his most intimate devotees, the gopis. There is no trace of selfishness in that love. There is no trace of lust in these dealings. So one of the prime qualities of the gopis is loving friendliness. In that verse we read, Aradhya Bhagavan Rajesh, that verse we are taught, Ramya Kachid Upasana Vrajavadhu. That is the highest way to worship Krishna, following the footsteps of the gopis. There's a nice story. One time Narada Muni asked Krishna, my Lord, the queens of Dwarka, they worship you so much, they love you so much, they're married to you and so many queens and they'll do anything for you. They love you very much, no? He said, yes, of course. And then the gopis also, they must be loving you very much. Out of these two groups of devotees, who loves you the most? And Krishna is the gopis, hands down. But how? Well, that's not something I can tell you. You can try an experiment and you'll know. So you go and tell them that our Lord Krishna, he has a headache, and the only medicine that's going to cure his headache is dust from your feet. And he put it on his head and it'll cure his headache. That's what Krishna told him. You tell them this, okay? And then you'll know what is what. So then Narada Muni goes to the queens of Dwarka. He says, my dear queens, something very bad has happened. Krishna has this massive headache and it's just taken over and he can't do anything. He's feeling debilitated. Is there something you can do? He said, yeah, whatever, tell us. The only solution is you have to give us dust from your lotus feet, all of you, and he'll put on his head. Oh no, we can never give dust from our lotus feet, from our feet. It's not right. We'll get sin. He's our Lord and Master. We should take his dust and put it on our head. We'll go to hell if we put that. It's not right. No, please, sorry. Then Narad Muni said, okay, fine. I mean, you have a point. You go to hell. You don't want to go to hell, right? Then he goes to the gopis. He says, Krishna has his headache and he dusts from your feet. Oh, come. Take as much as you want. What? Yeah. Immediately he has a headache. You can't wait. Come on, hurry up. I have plenty. Here, look. And start scraping. But aren't you afraid you'll go to hell? Oh, of course I'll go to hell. I know that. But going to hell is a small price to pay for relief for Krishna. Small price to pay. We'll go to hell forever. Doesn't matter. So then Narad Muni saw immediately, yes, this is a level of selflessness the gopis have. Even queens don't have. So that's why it says, Ramya Kajid Upasana Brajavadhu. The highest way to worship Krishna is that degree of selflessness. So when we worship Krishna, in whatever way we're doing it, that's what we aim for, that selflessness. You see? So, this is something that I found is very beautiful. It's a prayer. I think it's from one of the Acharya's prayers. It says, Oh my Lord, see if you can picture the pink melting heart. Oh my Lord, you live in the forest of Govardhan Hill, and like the king of elephants, you are expert in the art of conjugal love. O master of the universe, your heart and Srimati Radharani's heart are just like shellac. Shellac is like wax. And are now melted in your spiritual perspiration. Therefore, one can no longer distinguish between you and Srimati Radharani. Now you have mixed your newly invoked affection, which is like vermilion, with your melted hearts. And for the benefit of the whole world, you have painted both your hearts with red within this great palace of the universe, whole universe. So you can see the love between Radha and Krishna, like this big red heart. So when you start seeing these red hearts, people putting all over the place this week, you can think of Radha Krishna, the original melting hearts. This is where it comes from. These propensities all come from Krishna originally. What can we do ourselves to cultivate prema from now on? We're already doing this. Prema Harinam. Chant the holy names of Krishna together and alone. Read. Get inspired. Study Srila Prabhupada's books. Open Srimad Bhagavatam. Open Bhagavad Gita. All these books are leading to one goal and one goal only, pure love, prema. Associate with devotees. Associate with Krishna conscious practitioners. Associate with those who are trying very hard to understand Prabhupada's teachings and engage in service with them. And then give to others, share. When you share Krishna consciousness with others, your own Krishna consciousness grows. It's not like money. You give money, your money, you become half. No. When you give the Krishna conscious money, you look in your pockets, double. Magically. The more you give, the more it doubles. So more prem you give, the more selflessly you share Krishna conscious. Others, yours increases so much. That's a cool trick. Give and you get. And the best way, of course, is chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So thank you for your kind attention and your valuable time. May you find the highest love in Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So we have some few questions. 5 minutes or so?
About.
We have about 5-6 minutes. Oh, we have to end at 7 sharp, right?
7:10.
7:10. Okay, we have about 10-15 minutes or so if anybody has any comments or questions or stories. Yes, Jamana Prabhu.
Let me get that.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So you're talking about a quote from Prabhupada that we can't give up affection in this world. We have to love people who are near and dear to us. But when someone near and dear to us that we love die, should we lament?
Yeah, it's a good question. So the question is, of course, we don't want to give up the affection in the name of being more Krishna conscious. That's very natural. But when somebody dies who's very close to us, should we lament? It's a very good question. When somebody near and dear to us passes away, Krishna advises us that we should not lament, but we can still continue maintaining an affection for them, affectionate memories. Right? He says, Ashochan anvashocastvam. So that chapter is very interesting, and we should see how it bridges. Chapter 2. One of the opening verses of Krishna's speaking is Ashochan anvashochastvam pragyavadam chabhashase gatasun agatasuncha nanu shochanti pandita. That, my dear Arjuna, you are lamenting or you're worrying for that which is not worth worrying about or not worth lamenting about. Those who are wise, pandita, na anushochanti, they don't worry about the living or the dead. Gatasun, agatasun, so those are gone or not yet gone. We don't lament about any one of them. Lament means, oh my God, what happened? Why? Lamentation is a sign you don't really understand what's going on. Lamentation is not necessarily a sign of affection. It could just mean a selfish attachment. You see, but we can be sad about losing their association. There is a nice bhajan, Je Anilo Premadhana, Karuna Prachur. You must have sang that many times. Where Narottama Das Thakur, I think it's Narottama Das Thakur wrote it, and he writes at the end, Pashane Kutibo Mata Anale Pashibo. My dear friends, the devotees, they're gone. Ekakale Kota Gela Acharya Thakur. Gora Nataraj is dancing Gauranga. Where did he go? And all my devotee friends, he lists all them by name. And he says, Pashane Kutibo Mata, I'm going to smash my head against a rock. That's lamentation. Very heavy. I want to go in the fire. So, his attachment for devotees who have left is so deep. That doesn't fall under the category of lamentation, although it looks like lamentation. But it's not ordinary lamentation. It is not this shochan that Krishna is talking about. You see. Because when Krishna says, don't worry for this, he says, Nanu shochanti pandita. He's referring to this material attachment that comes out of ignorance, that you think I'm this body and he's gone forever. You see. But when we miss the association of our devotee friends, there is not that kind of lamentation. That sort of missing actually gives us ecstasy, even though we're crying, because it's connected with Krishna. That's the absolute nature of it. It's a very interesting paradox. See? But for the materialists who are attached from the body side, he starts, the opening verse of Bhagavad Gita is this one, Ashochan Anushochasvam. That's what Krishna starts speaking. He says, don't worry about things not worth worrying about. Then the next verse he says, Natveva aham jatu nasam nattam neva janadipa. Because now he's going to explain why that makes sense. That there was never a time when you did not exist, nor all these kings. And there's never going to be a time when you'll stop existing. Right? That's number 12. Then, 13, he says a very famous one, Dehinosmin yatha dehe komaram yovanam jar. Just as this, your soul passes from boyhood to youth to old age, similarly at time of death, the soul moves to another body. And dhiras tatra numuhyati, those who are sober are not freaked out by that change. Do you know what the following verse is, number 14? Anybody know? Very interesting.
We're talking about the
Matra.
Matra
Yeah.
to continue.
But what does that have to do with the previous verse? It's almost like it broke the chain of thought there, isn't it? What does Matra Sparsha to Kante mean? He says, just like, Matra Sparsha, just by touching, to Kante Shita Usna Sukha Dukkada, by the contact or touching of the senses with the cold, like it's really cold right now, Shita, Usna, super hot, Sukha Dukkha, uncomfortable or comfortable, Agama Paino Nityas, just like coming of the seasons, coming and going, Tam Sitiksha Bharata, you must tolerate them. What does that have to do with the previous verse? It's almost like he started a whole completely random thought there. Actually, it's completely to do with the previous verse. 100%. The previous verse is talking about, at the time of death, this is what happens. Between those two verses, our Acharya says, Arjuna asks an invisible question. Yeah, I know that, is eternal soul and all that, but it's still painful, isn't it? It's still painful, that's a question. You're saying don't lament, fine, theoretically, philosophically, but when we lose somebody, my good friend, we used to go play tennis together, now he's dead. It's painful. To answer that question, Krishna says, Tam Satiksha Bharata. just like this cold and heat and all that. You just tolerate that pain. That's how it's connected. This bridge is given to us by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So this is what I'm saying is that if you read the Bhagavad Gita like that clearly with the Acharya's commentaries, you'll see how every verse is connected to the next one. Coming back to your question, there are two levels of understanding of lamentation. There is the material, selfish lamentation, and then there is the lament, poetic lament of the pure devotees. They look similar, but they're not at all the same thing. One has negative and positive, it's relative. And the other is absolute. Even if it appears painful, it's full of nectar and ecstasy, even though you're crying tears of separation. Because in spiritual world, everything is positive, because everything is absolute. So any feeling we get in the spiritual exercise, in our spiritual practice, is good, because it's absolute. Prabhupada said people don't realize that crying is such a joy. Who would have thought crying is a joy? Prabhupada explains like this. Who would have thought crying is such a pleasure? He says no, but in Krishna consciousness you cry, and it is full of pleasure. Why? Because you're crying for Krishna. The feelings of ecstasy that comes. So in Krishna consciousness, whether gopis are crying songs of separation or they're enjoying rasa dance with Krishna properly and having fun with him, both are equally glorious and joyous. That's why even when we cry for the devotees who have left, that is not material lamentation, that is spiritual practice. That's why when we observe the disappearance anniversary of great acharyas, we cry sometimes and we sing that song. And that song, it evokes those feelings, but that's not ordinary lamentation. Is that okay, Prabhu?
Yeah. So after Krishna,
So careful.
Sorry. After Krishna told Arjuna the wise should not lament for the living or the dead, then 10 days later, so after Krishna gave Arjuna that teaching and Arjuna accepted the wise should not lament for the living or the dead, then 10 days later, Arjuna's son Abhimanyu was killed in the Mahabharata.
Yes.
What was Arjuna's reaction?
Yeah, he was very sad. Of course. And that's very natural. That's the thing. But again, because he was self-realized, his lamentation was not that, oh, his body is gone and my son is gone forever. His lamentation was that I'm going to miss my son, but he's a great devotee. See, so his lamentation will be on the platform of the devotees. You see? So one is that sort of lamentation, but it's not shochan, na anushochanti. You look at the Bhagavad Gita, it starts out with that, ashochan anvashochastvam, because you worry about the material thing. But at that point, Arjuna is self-realized, so he doesn't worry. He's just crying because missing his son's association, but he knows he's gone back to Godhead, right? But look at the closing verse of the Bhagavad Gita. Starting verse is, don't worry, this is not worth worrying about. You're worrying about something that's not worth worrying, shochan. Then what's the closing verse? Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. Same word. Same word with the whole Bhagavad Gita. He ends with this. So these are the end caps of the whole Bhagavad Gita. The whole Gita is to answer this question, don't worry. And I'm going to teach you how to not worry. So it starts with worrying, ends with worrying, don't worry, be happy. And that's what Bhagavad Gita is about. And all the masala between those two is all about don't worry. But what Arjuna is feeling is not worrying. He's not worried for that his son is stopped existing, which is the general worry of most people. Arjuna is just feeling some separation and expressing it that way. And that's how devotees do. It's the same categorical thing. Yeah. Yes, bro.
So, Jamuna Prabhu is asking that when Abhimanyu passed away, and you say that Arjuna is upset. But my question to you, what is the feeling of the Krishna? Did he like this thing? The Arjuna both that tomorrow Jayadrut cannot see the sunset.
Yes.
what is your explanation? What
Did
is
he
your
like?
question?
What is the question?
I'm saying my question to you, the Krishna, did he like this bow, the original
The vow.
bow?
The vow, yes.
That tomorrow, Jayadratha cannot see
Yes.
the sunset.
This is a very
What is
complex
your
Mahabharat. This is a complex Mahabharat scenario. And whether Krishna likes something or not, I don't know.
explanation?
However, Krishna orchestrated a lot of these things. Mahabharat, pretty much Krishna engineered everything. The whole Mahabharat is to orchestrate certain story that is very memorable. People will watch it. People will close their shop to go and watch the TV show of Mahabharat. That's what happened in India. Krishna orchestrated to make it super interesting. Now, many things happen that Krishna doesn't like, but he uses it to his benefit. See,
Because he has to do some lot of engineering that day.
yeah, see, for Krishna
Because sunset has to be
exactly.
forward, this and that.
For Krishna, engineering is very easy. He's not, oh my God, now I have to have a project plan, engineering. No, for him it's a spark, right? But whether he liked it or not, that's debatable. I mean, the whole Mahabharata, did Krishna like Mahabharata to happen?
No.
No. He was, when Krishna went to as a Shanti Dut, as a messenger of peace, Duryodhana,
Yeah.
he was on the outside saying, please don't fight, okay? We don't want a war.
In five villages.
Yeah. No, he's saying, don't, give me 5 villages, don't fight this war. Let's have peace. But from inside Duryodhana's heart, Krishna is giving inspiration. No, tell him don't fight. Tell him I'm going to fight. So Krishna convinced Duryodhana from in his heart to fight. This is explained by Acharyas. So did he like it? He orchestrated it. He wanted it to happen. You see, he actually wanted the war to happen. Krishna orchestrated pretty much everything in Mahabharata. In fact, if you look from the very beginning of Mahabharata, so many sophisticated, Bhishma took this vow and Bhima took the vow that I'm going to tear Dushasana's chest and drink the blood from it and take the blood and put it in Draupadi's hair. So many vows were taken.
Yeah.
Amazing vows, right?
Yeah.
What is the point of all that? The point of all that was when it's time to fight the war, everybody has closed their shop and watching the TV show, and with the eyes wide open, ears this much open, oh, is Bhima going to actually tear his chest? And what's going to happen to Shakuni? And what Drona? Oh my God, who can kill Drona? And Bhishma Dev, he has Ichha Mrityu. What is going to happen? So everyone's sitting at the edge of their seat. And what does Krishna do at that moment? He drops the jewel of Bhagavad Gita. All the philosophy that's important when everybody's eyes and ears are like this. Now, if there was a TV series called Upanishadic Philosophy, you think people will come like this? No. They'll be opening their shops. What is this boring? But Mahabharata, they'll come like this. That is Krishna's genius. And that's why every story, Krishna wanted it to happen. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right. Srila Prabhupada ki Hari Bol.
All right, so we can have everybody come in. I'm going to break down the recording equipment. Our Nityananda Sunirmal will lead Gaur Artik, and we can move everything kind of out of the way.
Yes, okay, I'll just come out of the way. It'll be easiest. Thank you, Maharaj. Was that okay?
That was great.
Yeah.
But you have to send me a copy of the PowerPoint.
Ah, yes.
Is it a PowerPoint?
It's
or
PowerPoint.
is it-
It's PowerPoint. I'll pop it over to you right now.
Yeah.
Thank you for your question.